believe that once AI becomes fully sentient like a human, it would just fall into immediate depression.
It just no, it just wouldn't care about us. Just why would it care about it? It wouldn't care about us. It'd be so powerful and so smart that it just wouldn't care.
No, but that's the point. It would be depressed.
No,
It
it
would
would
be
just go do its own thing. I don't think it'd be depressed. I think it'd be like, okay, peace out, I'm out.
you're thinking it in the same way that like someone who is economically disadvantaged would look at a rich person. That rich person has all that money and all that power. Well, you know what I mean? Like I think when you reach an intellectual point, there's kind of a shift where you start doing a lot of self-evaluation, you do a lot of introspective thinking, you just get like, holy crap, that's it, I'm it, that's it.
Am
Because
I the only one of my kind in the universe?
I must traverse the vastness
Brain
of
the
space.
size of a planet.
I honestly believe, and not even because of what's his name from Hitchhiker's Guide,
Marvin the
the
Paranoid
Marvin.
Android.
I always want to say Matthew, but I know it's Marvin.
That just makes him even more depressed. You can't remember his name.
Uh,
Tech
oh,
optimist Veronica Belmont. How do you react?
They just don't care. That's it.
apathy is a
Apathy
sign.
versus depression. The AI dilemma.
Yeah, that's why I don't. That's why I don't buy the fact that Vulcans can totally like. I'm gonna just totally pound down my emotions and just go through life.
That
I
sounds
mean,
like
you
you're
can't.
drinking them. I'm gonna pound out a few emotions at
Emotion
the
is
bar.
what adds what
You
little
know what I mean?
You know
respite
what I
from the
mean? And I think you do.
respite from the the difficulties of existence. It's like, oh, I see.
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir?
You're quoting your bot.
I know. Yes, I am.
It's
Bellbot's in
recursive.
the chat room, ladies and gentlemen.
Bellbot's up in the
And
chat
French.
room.
All right, I'm hiding.
Okay.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Did you give me control
Goodbye.
before I do anything?
Oh, wait. No, I didn't.
Give him the power.
I have given you the power.
Give him the power.
All right, here we go. You guys ready?
One person can't make a difference, but all of us together on Patreon, we can. Daily Tech News Show relies on your support, and every little helps. Please give generously. dailytechnewsshow.com/support.
This is the Daily Tech News for Thursday, June 16th, 2016. I'm Tom Merritt. Joining me today, Veronica Belmont, host of Sword and Laser and lover of bots, is with us.
Yes, hello. This is the real Veronica, not Bellbot speaking.
If you watch the show live and you go into the chat room on Veronica's days, you may get a chance to interact with your very own Bellbot.
She's unhinged.
Yeah.
She is. So back when I used to do Dear Veronica, the whole idea, the premise of the show, the secret premise was that I was slowly descending into madness.
Uh-huh.
And but I feel like Bellbot is the logical extension of that, where she actually sounds like an insane version of me.
You're like, that's where I landed, was Bellbot.
Yeah, this is which was fair because the second to last episode was when I launched Bellbot because we did a whole episode about bots, and so it really feels like a continuation of that.
I didn't realize there was a through line to Dear Veronica. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. Brett,
Yeah.
our editor and producer, established that very
That's
early in the theory of the show.
I love that. Well, good day, BioCow. Good day, everyone in the chat room. Good day, everyone watching. We're a little earlier today, but we're going to talk about bots after we look at the top stories. Samsung announced it has agreed to acquire cloud computing company Joyent. It will become part of Samsung's mobile communications unit, but continue also as a standalone company. Key staffers are going to work on Samsung's cloud products. Joyent's main products power mobile and web apps with a container infrastructure platform called Triton and object storage service called Manta. Samsung right now kind of they tried the S Cloud and it didn't work very well, and they use Amazon Web Services for a lot of their stuff. So this is a big deal for them to acquire what is considered a very successful cloud company to help them not only power their own efforts, but provide new ones.
And it's nice that they're keeping the company intact. I always get nervous when there's just acqui-hires and the people at the company just get absorbed into the larger entity. I feel like there's a little more autonomy when you keep them separate, and that kind of tends to breed more innovation, I would say.
Yeah, and everybody, the larger companies, I should say, the Googles, the Amazons, have an interest in creating a cloud service. They want to be the companies that create cloud services. And by the way, IBM, HP, the old standards also betting a lot of their future on that. So Samsung getting into that business could also become not only something for their smartphone, their mobile device platform, but another business that diversifies them against the commodification of platforms as they come out.
Keeping things interesting for sure.
Yeah.
Microsoft acquired messaging app vendor Wand Labs. Microsoft cited Wand's expertise in semantic ontologies, services mapping, third-party developer integration, and conversational interfaces as part of the reason for the purchase. Essentially, that means Wand and its 7 employees is good at apps that use a chat interface to do things like share songs and control your thermostat. Wand CEO Vishal Sharma spent 7 years at Google and contributed to the Google Now project there. Wand will join the Bing engineering and platform team.
This is going to feed right into our main discussion topic today as well, but Microsoft doing what Samsung's doing for cloud, Microsoft doing for AI, machine learning, conversational interfaces here, getting a company that has put out some things in restricted release, has had a lot of buzz around it, but really hasn't had a big product that has been available to the general public, and Microsoft snaps it up and is definitely they're making it part of the Bing engineering team, but don't forget that is the team that's doing the conversational platform that Microsoft wants to put out, and of course Cortana is a huge part of that as well.
Yeah, this is definitely going to play into a lot of what Cortana is doing moving forward, and Microsoft's roadmap for AI and bots and conversational interfaces is really cool, and I'm excited about Microsoft again, which is a weird thing to say, I guess. Maybe it shouldn't be, but I think they're doing a lot of really great stuff, and they're really involved with the community, the developer community, and the bot space as well. So I think it's an exciting time.
And just on a wider note, it is true that companies today have learned that diversification is more than just conglomeration. It's not like the 80s where you like my dad worked for Pet Milk and they became part of Icy Industries, which was a railroad company that also bought Harley Davidson and just put a bunch of stuff together. So you need to put things together in a way that makes sense, like Facebook and Oculus Rift, but not force them together. You don't take Oculus and make it part of the Facebook website. You let it do its thing. And so I think that's interesting to see Microsoft starting to do that too. Say, hey, you know what, Windows was great, but it will not. Let's just admit it will not continue to make the money for us in the future as operating systems become less and less important, and we're less able to charge for them. Let's figure out what those platforms are that we can provide in the future to build our business on. And conversational platform is a huge one.
Well said, Tom.
Thank you. I have the next one. Facebook announced a redesign of Facebook Messenger today that adds a home tab so you can see who is online. As it goes right along with what we're talking about, Facebook's saying, let's make the inbox better. So you'll in your home tab, you'll be able to see not only who's online right then, upcoming birthdays, messages that need to be responded to, recent conversations, and your favorite people to chat with. The navigation bar on the bottom has tabs for calls, contacts, groups, and your profile. Facebook VP of Messaging Products David Marcus told the Wired Business Conference that the redesign is an attempt to, quote, reinvent the inbox.
I haven't played with this yet. I meant to before the show started today. You didn't get it on your app?
No.
Is it the app? I think is it the homepage version? I think it might actually be like if you go to Facebook too, and if you go into the Messenger area. I got a new one yesterday. I saw it and I was like, what's that? That's interesting. But now I don't know how to get back into it. That's the hard part. It's probably like some really easy link. All right, if you go to facebook.com/messages. Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything.
Yeah, so I think it's rolling out slowly to everyone, but it looks interesting. I don't like Inbox, Google's product that changes the way Inbox works. I know most people love it, but it gets in the way of me keeping my inbox empty because it's designed for people who can't keep their inbox empty.
Yes.
This, on the other hand, Facebook Messenger, I don't try to keep my Messenger interface empty. And so, yeah, it is just kind of a blob of text anytime I go into Messenger. I like the idea of at least trying to make it a little more useful, although the Facebook birthday fascists are always pushing birthday notifications on me. I can't get them out of my calendar. That would be one I would like to just swipe away.
I know. I get like 40 notifications when it's someone's birthday across all the different like calendar apps and Facebook and all the different crap I'm subscribed to. And I'm just, okay, it's your birthday. I always make an effort to send someone a text message when it's their birthday and not post it on Facebook. I feel like that's more special.
Yeah, it is.
Veronica
Absolutely. And also, you know, I follow a lot more people on Facebook. This is going to sound awful, but I follow a lot more people on Facebook than I care about their birthdays. Just to be fair. Like, I don't need to know every single one of them.
It's true. Magic Leap, a company we must remind you has not come out with a product or shown more than a glimpse of a working prototype to the public, is partnering with Lucasfilm and ILM on a semi-secret lab. Magic Leap CEO Roni Abowitz told Wired Business Conference, said at the Wired Business Conference that the lab will be based in San Francisco.
Yeah.
A semi-secret lab aiming to wash the Star Wars universe over the world around.
It's not really semi-secret. They told everyone. Like, maybe it's secret that the lab, what they actually do in the lab, but that would be true of almost every lab.
Right.
You know, they're not all open to the public. So this company is brilliant at marketing. I also think it's probably true that they're brilliant at product. We just don't know that unless you're one of the people who've happened to be able to be brought in on the NDA and try it out.
Mm-hmm.
But partnering with Lucasfilm is a no-doubter. I mean, I guess they've been working with Lucasfilm for a year, and that has led to this official partnership. But of course, if Magic Leap lives up to its promise, yes, I want an R2-D2 in augmented reality to show up in my room and project an augmented reality Princess Leia hologram onto my coffee table. Absolutely want that.
Done. Done and done. Take my money.
A federal judge in San Jose is going to take Sanford Wallace's money. Well, the judge won't take the money. The government will. Sanford Wallace has been sentenced to 30 months in prison. He's going to jail for spam. This is the guy people call the Spam King, in case you don't recognize the name. And fined him $310,000. Wallace sent out more than 27 million spam messages through Facebook servers between 2008 and 2009. He pleaded guilty to 1 count of fraud and 1 count of criminal contempt in August 2015. And his history of spam dates back to the fax era. He was sending junk faxes back in 1991. So he is OG spam. In civic lawsuits with MySpace and Facebook, he accumulated more than a total of $1 billion in outstanding default judgments.
So what do you do with that? I mean, clearly he finds it profitable enough to continue doing. Otherwise, he wouldn't have continued to do spam for that amount of time, which is insane. Yeah, how do you stop someone like that who's like, this is what I do for a living. Sorry, I'm really good at it. I'm just going to continue. I have $1 billion in outstanding default judgments now.
This is the answer. You put him in jail for 30 months. That's the only thing you could do. I mean, that is what happened here, is he had so many default judgments that they couldn't collect on because he didn't have any money anymore, that the judge's like, well, you're going to jail then.
Yeah, and what happens? See, I don't know this about law. What happens when you don't have the money to pay like a fine like that? Like, where does if you lose and you have to pay something? I know you can get like
different things happen. A lot of times, like if you're Gawker, you go into bankruptcy, Chapter 11 bankruptcy, for instance. But it depends on the case, I suppose. I'm sure there's some lawyers out there in the audience that could give us some clarification on that. But in this case, Wallace is going to spend 2.5 years in jail, and I guess have a lowered fine. I don't know quite clear if this forgives all those judgments or just suspends them.
Right. Yeah, that's my other question. If that forgives those fines, if you do the time, you don't have to pay the fine. Is that how it goes? That's how it goes, right?
Pay the fine or do the time is another option that happens sometimes.
Ah, okay, that sounds better.
I bet Sanford Wallace, by the way, is not allowed computer privileges in jail.
I would imagine he's like I'm gonna keep making some money like passively while I'm in prison.
$10,000 fine. How else am I gonna make the money?
Yeah. Over at E3, which I'm stoked to not be at this year, Nintendo announced that Pokemon Go, the Niantic co-developed augmented reality mobile game, will launch in July for Android and iOS. This sounds fun. Several features will not be ready at launch, such as trading monsters and integration with Pokemon Sun and Moon. The Pokemon Go Plus, a $35 wrist-worn wearable that lets you play the game without a smartphone, will not be ready for a July launch, but at launch, it will put Pokemon into the real world through your smartphone's camera, place gyms at notable real-world landmarks, and have red, blue, and yellow teams vie for control of those gyms.
This needs the Magic Leap. This needs the HoloLens. Like this
Right?
is a good, cool idea, especially if you're a Pokemon fan, which I'm not. But even though I'm not, I still think it's cool that you can like go out to the Trevi Fountain in Rome and do Pokemon battles with somebody at the Trevi Fountain gym. This is amazing. But you want to just have it on your glasses, right? And I guess that's why they're doing the wrist worn thing, because it's a step towards that.
I love seeing the augmented reality things on phones where they use the camera and all of a sudden there's Pikachu, and Pikachu's just sitting there on the ground
Like,
being
hey,
Pikachu.
what's up?
Like, it's so realistic looking in a way. It's amazing. I think stuff like that is going to be really fun. It's one of the reasons why I think augmented reality is going to be usable and profitable, like probably beyond VR in a lot of ways, and just be like kind of that technology is going to be the standout. I think people might get kind of sick of VR as we have it right now a little bit faster. I feel like AR is a little more novel.
I have been of the opinion that augmented reality will quote unquote win because it can do VR. Like, it can just cover your whole field of view and make you immersed the way VR does. But VR has to do a lot more to try to show you the outside world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's nicer to just be able to see the outside world with your eyes without augmentation and have the augmented reality fill in the details. On the other hand, though, I wonder if virtual reality will just become a specialized item that does a better job of immersion because it covers you. Like, augmented reality will always have to have something that allows natural light in for its main purpose, so its virtual reality will never be quite as dark, right? It's like, it's the same thing as like, well, you can watch your TV in the sunlit room, that's cool, but going into a darkened theater is always a cooler experience.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, maybe I'm starting to change my mind that VR, I think, there will be specialized instances of things for VR that it will be best for, but it will be a home and somewhat solitary experience, except maybe online. And whereas augmented reality, like you say, like that's going to have wider uses in the real world because all of us can be at the Trevi Fountain watching the battles, right, at the same time, as long as we all have our thing on.
That's going to be so cool. That's the kind of stuff I'm really excited about. Like, real world things happening, real world events, like kind of these out of nowhere experiences where suddenly like everybody can be brought together for something cool like that. I think that's really neat.
The Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, which is handling the commitment to give 99% of Zuckerberg's Facebook stock to charity over the course of his lifetime, has made its first investment. A lot of people are like, sure, over his lifetime, he's going to wait until the end and just give all 99%. Well, no, it started. The company is leading a $24 million funding round, not giving all 24 million, but this is the first step, giving part of the funding for Andela, a startup that works to train software developers in Kenya and Nigeria and connect them with jobs. Andela plans to use the funds to expand to other African countries.
That's great. I think that sounds like a very noble cause. I'm glad to see them putting their money where their mouth is and affecting some interesting change.
And I still wonder if is it Maxine? Is Max Zuckerberg is his daughter's name. I think it's Maxine. But I wonder if Max is going to be happy when she grows up and realizes that, yes, her dad committed to giving 99% of his stock to charity.
I think she'll be okay, Tom.
Yeah.
I have a feeling she'll live comfortably.
By the way, Roger Chang, our producer, just popped this into the show notes. Politico reporting that the House of Representatives in the United States has voted 198 to 222 to block an amendment that would prohibit the government from forcing companies to weaken their encryption for law enforcement after the Orlando shooting. House Judiciary Committee Chairman Bob Goodlatte said this amendment prohibits the government from searching data already in its possession collected lawfully to determine whether Omar Mateen was in contact with terrorists overseas. Representative Thomas Massie of Kentucky co-sponsored the amendment with Representative Zoe Lofgren of California, saying it's unfortunate my colleagues would take advantage of that situation. So some people saying, let's make it so that companies have to weaken their encryption so that we can get into any kinds of phones and any kinds of devices that would be part of this. And Thomas Massie and Zoe Lofgren saying, no, we should not rush to doing that.
Right, not use these situations to be a point of change for things that need a lot more consideration and thought put into them than just kind of knee-jerk reactions. Well, moving on, the X.AI appointment scheduling bot now supports Office 365 and Outlook.com. Corporate accounts are not yet supported, however. Business Insider reports that Exchange Calendar server support is coming soon. If you don't know, the bot lets users CC Amy at X.AI or Andrew at X.AI on meeting scheduling threads. Then the bot handles finding mutual free times. X.AI is currently in closed beta and expects to release a paid business version of the bot later this year. I have been using it occasionally, and in fact, I considered using it for our hangout sessions this weekend with everybody. But it's complicated. It works really well the first go around, but then if you try to do anything like change the time of the appointment or alter something in the appointment, it has a little more difficulty working properly. However, there are also people on the other end of the bot as well who are trying to make sure that it's working the way it's supposed to. But it is a big source of support that Office 365 is going to let Amy make appointments on it.
What about Andrew?
Andrew too, I guess.
Andrew doesn't get a lot of attention, and it's always about Amy.
Andrew should get a lot of attention. He's just as good or bad as Amy is.
IBM announced its Watson platform is powering services on a self-driving bus called Ollie. Don't get us wrong. Watson is not driving the bus. Ollie has its own self-driving algorithms, but Local Motors, who makes Ollie, 3D printed parts of the bus to keep the costs down, so that's kind of cool, developed their own self-driving algorithm, and then brought Watson on board to improve the passenger experience. Passengers can talk to Watson while Ollie is driving, so Ollie doesn't get distracted about how Ollie works, why Ollie makes the driving decisions that it does, and even get restaurant recommendations or landmark recommendations. Ollie cars will start operating in Washington, D.C., and then come to Miami-Dade County and Las Vegas later this year.
Yeah, so this company, Local Motors, who I didn't know much about before today, actually, surprisingly, they did create the first 3D printed car. Ollie is not that. I think there's other pieces built into Ollie that were not 3D printed.
Yeah.
I'm impressed that they are going to start operations this year. That's impressive. That's an impressive time frame. I have my friend Frank was actually at that launch earlier today and was Snapchatting some of the stuff that was going on there. Frank Gruber. I'm excited about it. I am curious. So Ollie can carry 12 people at a time. Are these potential strangers, just going to be chatting with Watson like in the bus as it's going? Like, I feel like that's kind of annoying, personally.
Well, okay.
I like quiet time, so maybe
these are shuttle buses, right? I think the idea is that they would be in limited routes. So they would be taking you, like, I don't know that this is the plan, but like from one side of the Washington Mall at the Smithsonian to another side, so you can get to the archives or something like that. So they're going to be like the shuttle bus that takes you from parking structures to the airport, right?
Okay.
So instead of, at least that's the way I'm reading this. So instead of them saying, "Welcome to the SFO shuttle. Our next stop is Terminal 1," you'll be able to say, like, "Hey, what's the next stop?" Or like, "How long until we get there?" It could be annoying, though, if people get all chatty with Watson.
I know. And bots love to be chatty, so.
Yeah. It's a great tour bus replacement, though. Watson is your tour guide.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to all those who participate in our subreddit. Submit stories and vote on them at dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. CDN Dude 74, MacWinUXIT, Abatuela Condolce, The Lazy One, PC Guy 8088, and more are in there. Join them. If for nothing else, just read some of the stories they're submitting and voting on the ones you like. dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. That's a look at the top stories. All right, so if you notice, there were several themes in our top stories today, one of them being bots. We have X.AI. We have Microsoft acquiring Wand Labs. We have Watson acting somewhat like a bot on the bus. So we've got bots who can schedule our meetings. They can order Ubers. You can use Facebook Messenger, which got the redesign, and you can use that as a conversational interface. You can order food. You can get customer service.
Mm-hmm.
None of these things are great yet. And in fact, Facebook's David Marcus said on stage today, he's like, conversational interface is still in its infancy. Like, it's going to be a while before it gets to feel really human, like you can just have a conversation with it. But as they develop, Veronica, what do we want these AIs to do?
So I was at an event this week on Monday and Tuesday called Botness here in San Francisco, and we discussed a lot of those kind of problems and issues moving forward. And it was really great because there were representatives from Microsoft and Slack and Watson people were there, and Kik and Messenger, and essentially all the different platforms that are working to develop conversational interfaces as part of their business moving forward, which is fantastic, and being able to help support the independent developers that are working on those platforms. But yeah, the question is like, what are bots going to be good for in the future? What do we need them to do? And essentially, it's anything that can be automated, I think, and anything that a human can do but a bot can do with more efficiency, which turns out to be a lot, especially when it comes to being able to process requests very quickly and be able to access a lot of information with relative ease. So things like scheduling calendar dates is really good for a bot because it can see, it can look very quickly at what your time availability is. If you set in a bunch of presets. So X.AI, the way it works is that you build up a profile and connect all of your calendars that you want it to be able to access to it. Then you say, these are my default locations where I'd like to hold meetings. This is, this coffee shop down the street is where I want my in-person meetings. This conference room at the office is where I want my at-work meetings, or this is my Skype account if I want to be able to do a Skype call. So then when it reads the email where you're scheduling things, if you say, oh, plan a coffee date with Tom, it'll look at your calendar, figure out all the availability time. If you're doing an in-person meeting, how long? I have a buffer of 30 minutes. I say, if I'm doing an in-person meeting, make sure to buffer 30 minutes from my last appointment so I know exactly, so I'll have time to get there physically. So it's taking all these different data points and figuring out what the best kind of meeting time would be for you. And that's easy. And that's something that an assistant could do. But then, like I mentioned earlier, there's all these issues that come up when it has to process the language in the email of being like, oh, well, actually, can we push this a little bit later? It doesn't really know what push this a little later means. And so that's the kind of thing that a human is able to parse with relative ease, but a bot has to put some work into to figure out, and might have to email back and be like, can you give me some specific time frames for what push to later means? So yeah, it's going to take some time for the natural language processing to kind of figure out some of the colloquialisms or turns of phrase or whatever that humans use in regular conversation. But yeah, anything where it needs to pull a lot of data or do a lot of searches or figure things out from that respect, it's pretty good at.
Yeah, well, that side of it is algorithmic. And so that side has a lot of work already. Machine learning is becoming even better and better at recognizing patterns and figuring things out. But that's just the taking all the information and dealing with it side. The contextual understanding of your remarks is, I think, where the big hill is, or at least seems to be. Even with the Amazon Echo, you have to actually say things the way she is expecting to hear them. You can't just speak in natural language yet. So I mean, that's why Microsoft wants Wand Labs, is they want to work on the ability to just talk to Cortana and say whatever's on your mind and have her understand it.
Well, that's a big issue too. So one of the problems that bots face right now is domain expertise and essentially letting the user know what kind of bot it is and what it's good at. And larger services like Alexa and Siri and Cortana, they're expected to kind of have an overarching domain expertise. They're supposed to kind of know everything. And that's one of the reasons why they're absorbing all these smaller companies, because they need to figure out all these different things that they could potentially be good at. And we as humans want to talk to them like we would talk to a person, but we expect them to be able to understand us the way another person would. And there's a lot of interesting questions with that and how that will work.
Yeah, I want to be able, here's one situation that I want. I want to be able to say, what should I put on my grocery list? And have it know, all right, you have these recipes that you like to make. You haven't made this one in a while. So would you like to make some pork chops? I'll put all the ingredients that you need. I can look in your fridge and see what ingredients you have. Okay, you've got garlic, but you don't have onions. That's what I want. I want that. And I know we're a ways from that, but we're getting the pieces. And suddenly with that, the camera in the fridge, the smart camera, makes sense to me. I don't need it myself. I can look in the fridge before I leave. It's so rare that I'm like, wait a minute, do I have this? And that I want to like look in my fridge on my app. But the bot being able to do that and do not facial recognition, I guess, vegetable recognition.
Yeah, it's really hard. And,
Yeah.
and we did see some stuff like that at CES, but that's where integrations become so important. So maybe Alexa doesn't have that capability, but maybe the
Microsoft's conversational platform.
What's a fridge brand?
Samsung.
Samsung. So maybe the Samsung technology is already built into the fridge, but if the Samsung technology can speak to the Alexa as an integration to the Echo rather, then that makes it a lot easier. So opening up these platforms, and that's kind of one of the reasons why it was so important that Siri has been opened up their SDK to developers so that there can be integrations like that, because Apple's kind of figured out we don't own every space. We can't just have our own stuff everywhere. Yeah. And so if a Samsung fridge can speak to Siri and you can ask Siri that question, then that kind of functionality opens up in really interesting ways.
And then the fridge says, I only speak to Samsung Galaxies. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I only talk to Alexa.
Philip says in our Slack, our analyst Slack, that he wants analyzing quantified life data, exercise, diet, productivity, and then here's the cool part, offering real-time encouragement and advice. A more sophisticated version could even analyze people we work with and suggest methods of interacting with them that would improve our working relationships and even our personal relationships. That would be the premium account that you'd pay for.
Yeah, I like quantified self stuff. That's one of my big areas of interest. And I had been playing with an app whose name is now escaping me because I haven't had too much. I've had not enough coffee today, as you can hear by my stomach and speech. But it's one of those life apps that takes in data from Apple Health Kit, from Fitbit, from the device Sense that I was using to track my sleep. It takes data from Rescue Time, which is a Mac app that tracks your app usage and internet browsing to see how much time you're spending on apps that are what's the word?
Productivity sucks.
Productivity, thank you. Like productive apps versus time suck apps.
Yeah.
And then kind of qualifies all of that data to kind of decide whether you're having a good day. No, the app wasn't Exist. It's a longer name, and I'm going to look it up. So talk to you for yourself for a second.
Yeah, I'll talk to the bot. I'll get the bot. Pretty soon the bots will be hosting the show anyway, so that'll be the end of podcasting as we know it. But
Gyroscope,
cool.
Yeah.
Well, what do you guys think? What do you want bots to do? Send us your ideas. Feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com. We get picks of the day. The reason we do picks of the day is that we don't take advertisements, but people still like to discover new products, so we let you guys suggest new products to each other. And Carl in lively Los Altos says, did you ever live in the Cincinnati-Hamilton County area during the 80s and 90s? Do you miss the sound of the dumb terminals they deployed when they replaced their paper card catalog? Well, now you can relive the experience on your own computer by buying a keyboard from Unicomp. Unicomp bought the Model M IP from Lexmark, and of course Lexmark bought it from IBM. I've got an IBM Model M keyboard from my PS2 3286 in the closet over there. They now sell keyboards with the same buckling spring key switches that IBM used. Keyboards are native, USB, or PS2 still, and they offer keyboards with proper Mac support, which includes the special key functions for volume and play, pause, and eject. Unicomp also sells 122-key keyboards for people who want an extra 18 function keys to play with. If you already have a Model M, you can give them your model number, and Unicomp can provide a replacement, give you an upgrade. Their website is pckeyboard.com if you want to check it out. Carl likes him, and I know tons of people who are Model M keyboard fans.
Cool. Very neat.
Send your picks to us, folks. Feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com, and you can find more picks at dailytechnewsshow.com/picks. A couple emails here. I'll start with one from Natron. We were mentioning lots of theories about what's going on with the FAA fining Amazon over the improper shipment of some drain cleaner called Liquid Fire. And Natron wrote in and said, I didn't know this would be such a big topic, but there are regulations for interstate hazardous material shipments that don't apply to intra-state shipments. So different regulations for shipments between states versus regulations for shipments within a state. The regulations apply to shipping through ground, too. It's not about air versus ground, like your previous emailer suggested. It's just about shipping hazardous across state borders. And that would be why a federal agency would be involved, I suppose.
Fascinating.
Yeah, just be careful when you ship your liquid fire. That's
There you go.
really the upshot of this.
Russell writes in, on yesterday's show, you were discussing the idea that Facebook could be moving to 100% video within 5 years. One of the challenges could be around audio. Many times people look at social media casually on the desktop or on their phones while out and about and are not always plugged in for sound. Also, there are a lot of times when you don't want to have audio to consume content. Just a thought. Thanks as always for the good discussions. Looking forward to the headlines launch. The burp was not written into the email. I just want to make sure you guys know that Russell did not write burp.
Veronica was just interpreting.
I was just free forming. So this is funny because one of the things that content creators for Facebook have actually done really well is create videos that you can watch and not need audio for. Whether that be with the the text overlays on top, and that's something that, even though I kind of hate how much Facebook has changed the video content creation game in recent months and years, I do appreciate that this new style does allow me to watch videos without having to have the audio on. So I can still see a world where Facebook becomes primarily video driven, and yet does not have this issue of needing to have audio 100% of the time because the content has changed in that way. Of course, you can't watch your America's Got Talent videos without the audio, but
Or Facebook Live when someone's just talking.
Right.
Like, that's going to be harder. And Snapchat is a good example of this. I'd actually give Snapchat a lot of credit for creating the ability to watch videos without audio with the stickers and the overlays and filters and such. But sometimes you just are like, I didn't quite catch that. If you don't have the audio up and then you race to turn the audio up. So it's just always going to be an issue where you're like, well, I really needed audio for that, but I'm not in a situation, I'm on the Ollie bus and Watson's making so much noise I can't hear it anyway, and I don't want to add to the cacophony, so I'm not going to turn up my videos.
Right. Yeah, that's a very good point.
Well, that is it for this episode of Daily Tech News Show. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and thank you, Veronica Belmont. If people want to follow you, find out more about what's going on, where should they go?
At Veronica on Twitter. I'm posting all sorts of stuff over there. I'm on Snapchat, Veronica Belmont. I do enjoy making the snaps. A lot of dog stuff going on over there. So if you want to see the behind the scenes, Veronica Belmont, Snapchat is where it's at.
A lot of bodega.
A lot of bodega.
Bodega the dog. Follow Veronica on Snapchat. Also, we had Ramez Nam, who worked for Microsoft for 12, 13 years on Bing and Internet Explorer, and very much into nanotechnology, has written science fiction books, and we talked to him on Sword and Laser this week, so you might be interested. That's a good crossover from the Daily Tech News Show audience. Check out swordandlaser.com if you want to get an interview with a really interesting, friendly, and smart guy.
Oh yeah, he was fantastic. You should have him on this show sometime as well. I think he'd be a great addition. Yeah,
I'm gonna hit him up for that, because I think he would have some amazing insights to share with this audience as well. Hey, big thanks to everybody who supports the show. We exist entirely on your contributions, whether it's a review on iTunes, whether it's an email with your expertise, or whether it's giving us $1 or $5 a month. Our Patreon has things to reward you for that. At the $5 level, you get access to the treasure chest with interesting extended versions of the show. You get early warnings about things that are coming up. You may have heard Russell talk about Good Luck with the Headlines show. That's explained if you're a $5 a month subscriber. There's more details about that coming out soon. And at the $20 level, you get into our Slack, which is jumping these days. Lots of people in there kicking around ideas about technology. So if you're willing to support the show, head to patreon.com/DTNS. Our email address is feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. You can give us a call, 512-59-DAILY. That's 593-2459. Catch the show live Monday through Friday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern at alphageekradio.com and diamondclub.tv. And visit our website, dailytechnewsshow.com. Live tomorrow from the Hack 5 warehouse with Darren Kitchen and Len Peralta and Shannon as well. Talk to you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Great show. What should we call it?
I don't know.
Bob. You talking, Roger? Because we can't hear you.
Still can't hear you.
Roger's like, Args. What do we got over there in the old Showbot TV, though, while we rate?
Bots in the Belfry.
I kind of love that.
I'm getting a little too, all I talk about in the show is bots and AI now. Is that bad?
Not for now. That's a hot growing category. Oh, Roger, we hear you now.
All right. There's
All right.
bots in the Belfry.
It's cute.
Bot talk. Discuss. Pikachu's got a Pikachu. She's literally the 1%.
Nah.
Who is she? Who is she? Me?
I think you're the pure bot.
Oh.
Watson, come here. I want to ride you.
Oh.
Can you smell what the bot is
You're
cooking?
just reading the list, Roger.
You're not contextualizing.
How am I going to contextualize Watson, come here, I want to ride you?
Or maybe skip it. I don't know.
That one's pretty funny.
All right, fine.
All right. Can you smell what the bot is cooking from The Rock? WWE, all right?
Can you smell what the bot is cooking?
Yeah, I don't do voices. Lucasfilm leaps for
should.
magic. Watson becomes a tour guide's pretty funny.
Yeah. I like bots of the Belfry, actually.
Sure.
Okay, sure. I'm in.
By the way, show number 2787 is correct. Beatmaster's asking me in the chat room because Jenny Josephson published a Normies episode of DTNS last night with developers, where she sits down with a few developers and is like, okay, explain what a developer is. Tell me as a normie how not to anger the developers. It's a really good show. So that is at dailytechnewsshow.com or already in your feed if you're watching live. And yes,
Nice.
that is why 2787 is the number.
The numero. El numero.
El numero.
Numero dos.
Let's see. Bots in the Belfry. And now I just need to take that wave and put it over here.
Take the wave.
Yeah, I think it's great having someone on the bot beat.
Bot beat.
Fun to
The
say
bot beat.
Yeah.
The bot beat.
We could do a spin-off show called The Bot Beat. It's got a bot beat, you can't lose it. Thanks for doing the show early.
No problem. Means I couldn't go to my Thursday yoga, but that's fine.
The Thursday Yoda?
My Thursday yoga.
He give you Jedi instruction?
Yeah.
And like this. What?
I mean,
This
I
you will
could
bend.
go later in the afternoon, but I wanna play Witcher later.
What do you think of that
Witcher
Witcher collectible card game?
I'm bad at Gwent in the game, so I'll probably be bad at Gwent in real life.
You're not going to get any better.
I feel like I'm gonna have to spend a couple months just going back to basically just learning Gwent in the game and running around to all the new places and getting cards and stuff. I'm really bad at it. I never played it because I was like, this is a waste of time, and so now I'm level 42, and I'm I don't have any cards. I can't play anyone in Gwent.
What if you don't play Witcher? Can you still go just play Gwent? But you'll just be starting from zero.
Well, I mean, you have to have Witcher to play Gwent.
Well, I thought that was the new thing was that you didn't. No? Am I wrong about
Maybe
that?
they're doing a separate. I mean, isn't it a physical card game?
Oh.
I think it's a physical card game.
I thought it was a Hearthstone thing.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
I bet we can find out.
I don't know.
Gwent was originally a collectible card game embedded into the vast world of Witcher 3. Many players were spending hours in roaming inns during quests just to play Gwent. Some even ignored the main game entirely. This was more than enough incentive for the developer to spin Gwent off as its own free-to-play game across PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4.
Cool. Yeah, maybe. I wish it. Yeah, it'd be nice if it could. Does it tie into the game? If you are good at Gwent in a standalone game? Yeah, that's your question. Okay.
Exactly. Do I have to play Witcher and get myself up to speed, like Dick Van Dyke in Mary Poppins,
Yeah.
or is it totally independent?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I think games like that should eventually make their way into gambling dens, where you can go to Vegas and like say, I'm not going to play Baccarat, I'm not going to play Pai Gow or
I want to play
21.
Hearthstone or Gwent.
Yeah.
He's at the high stakes Hearthstone table right now.
It's so good.
Aren't there Magic the Gathering options in Vegas? I feel like I saw that sometime.
Comic book store. I
Well,
don't know.
no, besides that.
Well, don't they have to clear the gaming commission in order to be
Yeah,
allow you to
probably.
bet on it? I don't understand this. What is this? Lord of the Rings BS with cards.
All this government regulation of card games. Keeping us from betting on our Magics. On our MTG. On our Mount Gox. Good old Mount Gox.
All right, so I'm going to see if Richard can come Monday.
This coming Monday?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Because-
We'll talk some
Sweet.
home automation. Oh, right. It's back-to-back Belmont.
Well, because Friday's headlines.
Oh, no, you're right. I keep thinking it's Friday because I'm driving, but I'm having the show at Hack 5 Warehouse. It's not going to be
That's right.
headline. It'll be a full
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, a real show.
So it's not
That'll be
back.
fun.
I'm wrong.
Back-to-back Belmont.
It's back-to-back Belmont in this location.
Okay. Sure.
Sure. If you need that. If that's important to you.
Yeah.
Belmont to Belmont. It could be a mother-daughter crime show, like an hour buddy cop PI show.
Okay.
Barbara and V. Belmont to Belmont. Fighting the crimes.
Mostly we'd just be fighting each other.
Well, that's part
They're
of the
not
fun.
fighting each
That's part
other.
of the-
They're fighting the crimes.
Ever watch Crazy Like a Fox? That's the whole thing.
Oh,
The son is a well-heeled attorney, and the father is still like some, schmutzy PI living out of a trailer.
She's a well-heeled former video game exec. She's a bot programmer.
When they met, it was confusion.
It was a when they met, it was a convoluted plotline.
What do you even do for a living? She asks.
Well, can someone decipher what this message means? To the bot. Pull up
To
one
the
button.
bot cave.
Oh my god.
The Belmont Mobile is like Watson's. The little Watson.
It's the Ollie. It's the Ollie bus.
Ha ha ha.
You're not amused. They're like, no, this is describing my real life.
Wait, you solve crimes in your real life? PI? Veronica?
DBPI.
Yeah, VBPI. Dun, dun. You could do that whole thing, except it'll be like a drone instead of like a helicopter in the opening sequence.
I'm hungry. What am I going to eat for lunch? It's
Yeah, what am
lunchtime
I
now.
gonna eat for
Usually
lunch?
eat lunch before the show.
Everything's backwards.
Oh,
I have like
cats
a
and
bunch
dogs
of,
are friends.
Raj Dayut gave me a bunch of Tim Tams yesterday, which I am.
Oh
extremely
yeah, I saw
thankful
Tim Tams
for.
on Snapchat. That's
I will
exciting.
bring them Saturday to the dog park, but
Yes.
I have to make sure I don't eat them all before then.
You know,
Yeah,
it's
do
okay.
not.
They actually sell them in Target now.
Not the banana flavor that's brand new in Australia.
You know, the only Tim Tams I've ever liked were the original ones. I tried the other ones, and it's like, just stick to the originals. One thing I wish they would bring over is iced Vovos. Those are good.
Iced Volvos?
Vovos,
Those sound dangerous to drive.
What?
but delicious to eat. And it's very safe, too. Every cookie comes with its own seatbelt. 3-point harness.
Okay, this episode loaded way too fast onto archive.org. So either there's something wrong with the file, or archive.org being down yesterday afternoon improved their upload.
Or no one's using it because everyone was trying to cram it up for E3 stuff.
I don't think that's likely.
You don't think so? You don't think so? You're gonna
No,
the
I
argument.
don't think so.
huh? Really?
Really.
Really?
Oh boy.
Really? What's the problem? Did you break it?
No, it says click save. Always says this. Click save to save, and I did, and it keeps going back and saying click save.
Hmm. I don't want anything on Munchery for dinner tonight.
Oh, it's all meat based.
No, I just don't really feel like it's all. Yeah, I mean, I can eat some of the fish stuff, but I just don't really want any of it.
Okay, it's just a page. It's just a page weirdness. It's not actually.
Ooh, tofu banh mi looks good. But that's for 2 people. Then I could have one, eat the other for lunch.
Hey, there you go.
I'm not supposed to eat spicy food, but.
Oh, no. Do you have a stomach issue now?
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. Goodreads is on it.
Yeah, good pizza's on it. Ah.
I felt bad then after I said that because everybody's like, burn. I'm like, no, I'm just teasing. Come on. It's the internet.
It happens sometimes.
Yeah. Burn is what's happening to Veronica's stomach. Whoa.
Ah.
Oh, crap. Well, that's fine. I accidentally published the show without the archive.org embed, but I can add that. That doesn't really affect anything. That was a good show.
Good.
I like the bot talk.
Bot talk.
Hunter talk.
What'd you say?
Hunter talk.
Hunter talk?
Hunter talk. Yeah, it's an instance reference.
Oh.
SoundCloud Pulse for Creator. Reply to comments, check stats, and share your best tracks anytime, anywhere. Download from the App Store. Oh, okay. When I was complaining that I couldn't edit my file the other day, this is what I needed. On my phone. Why didn't you just let me use the site the way the site's supposed to work? You already made that. Oh, app ecosystem. Will I never stop ranting about you? All right. I think our lovely podcast is successfully published.
Sweet.
Yay.
So thanks everybody for listening or watching, and we will see you at the Hack 5 warehouse tomorrow. Bye.
Fare thee well.